Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a tutorial on this. It's the FOXY eye trend that's kind of been going around, and I kind of put my own little spin on it and just did a FOXY wing pulled out into that cat eye. Now I probably should have put on falsies, but if you guys watch me regularly, you guys know how worthless I am with those false eyelashes. So yeah, but yeah, just absolutely love how this came out. So yes, the star of the show is this Makeup Revolution. I believe this is called the Heatwave palette. Has glow on it. It is a pressed pigment slash shimmer palette. I picked this up the first day it was available on the Ulta website. It's $25, and I got it like when they had a 20% off coupon, and then I think they had like they had the 20% off, and then I think there was another discount. Anyway, it came to like $10, and I got the free shipping. So great deal. I couldn't wait to get this. You have a full-size mirror, and this palette has some weight to it. So yeah, absolutely love this. I believe it's called the Heatwave. I'm not sure if I said that. And then I got like a free gift. They had a free gift with it, with the purchase as well. So amazing deal. So that's it. I do want to keep this intro short. If you guys are new, I'll take a second just to welcome you guys to the video and to my channel. My name is Lauren Jade. I am now 58. So I just had a birthday the other day. So yes, I deal with hooded eyes, mature crepey, wrinkly skin. They're slightly downturned. So yes, I have the battle and challenges ahead of me with this eye shape. So I'm always looking for ways to cheat the system and, you know, tweak things and just kind of pass my tips and tricks on to you guys, even though I know we all have different eye shapes and different levels of hoodedness. I'm hoping you guys can pick up a few things as well. So, all right, that's it. I'm going to keep the intro short. If you guys are new, I'd love to have you join me. Please hit the subscribe button and the post notification bell right next to it. That way YouTube notifies you each and every time I upload. And without further ado, let's just get right into this tutorial. Okay, I have already went ahead and primed my eyes. I used MAC's Paint Pot in Soft Ochre, and I'm going to go ahead and set that primer with this Hoola Light bronzer. This is a very similar to my Melt Blur, so it's a nice light, kind of a skin tone friendly shade for me because my skin tone is like medium. I'm just going to kind of pat that in. I'm taking it kind of in this upper socket area and a little bit on the lid, just kind of everywhere where I'm going to put some shadow, really. Tapping it in kind of gives a little bit of that cream shadow effect, which I really like. So I just tap this in and just kind of lightly blend it around. All right, I am just mapping out my lid space, getting that nice and high. And now I can better see my own shading right on my orbital bone. And that's just kind of a guide for me on where I'm going to be placing my shadows. I'm going to be directly going underneath that socket bone and then buffing them upwards onto the orbital bone. You always want to take that shadow a little bit higher if you have hooded eyes because, you know, for me, my natural crease is right here. So if you put your shadows in there, you're not going to see them. So you always want to go a little bit higher. And a good guide is to get right into your socket. You can just kind of push in. You can kind of feel where it kind of sinks in. And that's just directly underneath the orbital bone. And that's kind of like a guide for your placement. And then I'm just going to be buffing them upwards. But definitely by putting in this light, it helps me to better see that shading. I always say this, but it's true. Shade and light work together. All right, and speaking of shade and light working together, now I'm going to kind of carve out a nice little fake shadow crease. I'm going to do that with bronzer because I always bronze my crease. I'm going to take the Hoola bronzer from the Benefits Blush Bar, and I'm going to start kind of like right on this little part of this nose bridge kind of contour where it kind of connects in with this upper brow bone. So I'm just going to do a light sweep and just kind of connect right in there. I just feel like it gives a nice slimming effect to the nose area and just kind of connects everything together. So I like that. And then I'm going to push this up towards like the brow area. All right, I decided to go ahead and just do a tiny bit of baking here. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and deepen up this kind of shadow crease. And remember, you want to look down into your mirror so that you can get up as high as you need to so that you're above your natural crease. and when you look down into the mirror, you can really see that orbital bone and you can see that natural shading, and it's just a really good guide on where you want to go with your shadow. So I'm going to go into the Sigma palette. This is their new one. It's the Corderosa, and I'm just going to take this peachy shade. I'm just using the brush that it comes with. This is the E38, and then on the other side is the E54. It's a medium sweeper. So, and I'm just going to kind of dust this through the socket. So really kind of high up. And then I'm just going to kind of feather it out towards the temple. I'm just going to kind of build a nice little kind of a peachy kind of transition area up in here. This one I'm going to take is this shade number 2, it's called, and this one is a pressed pigment. I'm going to stick with that Sigma brush, the E38 side. And I'm just going to put this on. So I'm going to go right, like almost kind of like right on my orbital bone. I'm going to kind of take this kind of right, like right in this area here. I'm not going to take it like all the way in like I do with the bronzer. I'm just going to kind of start kind of midway and just kind of create like a little fake crease. I'm just going to kind of follow my own natural bone structure here and just kind of get this color up in there. I'm going really light with it, and you can see that it just gives such a really nice, like it's a deep shade, right? And you can build this up, but you can also get a nice soft kind of a wash of color as well. And then I'm just going to blend out the edges over here and just kind of one by one, kind of a swipe. It is really kind of time consuming that way, but you get a nice beautiful kind of an airbrushed finish when you do that. And then you get that nice gradient fade of color so that you have the depth right on like where you want your fake crease to be, which for me is like right underneath that socket bone. So again, you can kind of push in, and this is kind of like where I want the deepest, and then I want it to be kind of a gradual gradation of color going upwards. Now I'm going to go into this shade right over here, and I'm just going to pack this, kind of tapping, a little swiping, tapping, kind of like on this little outer section. I'm going to kind of keep it kind of low, kind of almost like kind of going up like at an angle. And then I'm just going to buff the edges up into that socket and just lightly feather it over and up. I like my shadows to kind of go up and over. I think you guys know that. And I'm just going to buff them out here on the side. Kind of blending in an upwards motion because I want this to kind of come up and over. I don't like that kind of straight across with the eyeshadow. I like my shadows to go up and over just to kind of create that height. And then I'm taking this other brush, the first one that I used, and I'm blending this like in a rounded fashion. So I'm coming up and around, kind of like almost kind of following like the arch of the brow right here. See how I'm kind of pushing that up and then just kind of blending this out here. Now, if you want more of that winged out shape, obviously you would have created that shape in the beginning. But for this look, and what I like kind of on me is more of that rounded shape. So that's what I'm doing here with this. All right, I'm going to take a little bit of my P. Louise base in the shade 0 on a P. Louise brush, and I'm just going to kind of cut like half the crease right here, just to brighten up this inner corner, kind of like right where I'm going to be putting my shimmer. I just use like the tiniest amount just to kind of carve out the shape, and also just to kind of have a nice amplifier just to make whatever shade I use pop even more. And then I'm gonna dip into, and this is just like an entirely pressed pigment palette, obviously without these shimmers. I think I'm gonna take this one, and I'm gonna kind of toggle back and forth between this orangey shade right over here and this one right here. And I'm gonna start with the orangey one kind of like in the center here. And I'm gonna kind of mesh that into the pink. All right, I'm gonna take the lightest shade now, which is this one right here, and I'm gonna pop that on the inner corner. All right, and then I'm gonna look, and I kind of want to deepen up that little fake crease area, but just kind of like right on the outer section. So I'm going to take this. This is a Luxie 206. It's a small angled shader brush, and I'm going to go into the first shade that I kind of used as kind of an upper transition area. And I love these little angled shaders because they work great for the outer V section, but they also work great for just kind of stamping like your little shadow crease, like wherever you want a little bit of accent depth. So for me, I want to be right here on the outside corner with it. I'm just going to kind of stamp, and I'm just going to push right in there. And now I've just kind of deepened up the crease on this outer corner here. Select a finer brush, and I'm going to take this shade right over here, the last one up here. It's kind of a deep maroon burgundy, and I'm going to start just by putting a little bit onto the outer lid. I'm going to kind of stamp and wiggle it into the lash line, and then just kind of smoke it up a little bit. And then I'm going to kind of map out where I'm going to do my wing, because I want to do kind of a more of a like dramatic, like a little foxy wing, I guess is what they're calling it. So I'm going to start with my lower lash line right here going up, and I'm just going to map it out first so I have the direction that I'm going for. Kind of get that mapped out as I want. I'm gonna go ahead and take this. You can use like a business card, you can use anything. I've used everything from the end of palettes to shadow shields to stuff like this. I mean, literally, like I've used like all of them. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and line this up with that line that I just made. And I'm taking this up pretty high and kind of filling in. And then I'm going to go into the black. All right, I'm going to do my inner corner here, and I've switched to an angled liner brush. I like to have it really, really thin on the inner corner, and then just a gradation, you know, of height, so it's getting thicker as you go out here. If I mentioned this or not, but when I do my wing, because my eyes have a slight downturn shift, I don't take this like wing like all the way to the end. I kind of take it up a little bit. So when I'm lining this up, and I don't remember if I mentioned this, but when I line this up, I'm not like down here, like at the very end. I'm following the alignment of my lower lash line, but I'm taking it up just a little bit higher. So this is where it would be if I was going to the end. Since I'm taking it up a little bit higher, I'm going over here. So when I do my wing, it's up a little bit higher than, like, say I were to finish it like down here. And then down here, I've just kind of did a little smoke around the end of it. But this just kind of gives the illusion that the eyes are not so downturned and they are lifted up a little bit, because you're not taking the end of your wing all the way down to like the bottom of like the lash line. I think I'm just going to kind of carve out like around my brow, right up in here, right underneath the arch. I'm going to put a little bit of that light shimmery shade. All right, I'm just going to dust away this powder here. And I'm going to touch up with the KKW brightening powder. This is in the shade 1, I think, yeah. And from the Benefit Blush Bar, I am wearing the Hoola Bronzer, and I'm using the Gold Rush and the Rockateur as kind of like a nice ethereal wash of color, if you will. It's a stunning combination, and it's literally like my go-to for just a nice flush and a nice wash of color. And then if you want just that little bit of pop of brightness, you can take California or anything that's like a bright, like a peachy coral. I'm going to use this Tom Ford blush brush. This is a nice apples of the cheek type brush because it's very dense, and you can just kind of pop right where you want that little pop of brightness. And I'm going to do it on this little upper cheekbone area. That's just going to add a little bit more lift to everything. And you guys know at my age, it's all about lift. We want to lift things up. All right, I'm going to grab a little bit of the Hoola Bronzer on this, and I'm just going to contour the little nose section right here, and then bring it into where I contoured with the eye in the beginning. Just gives such a nice little slimming effect, and just literally like ties everything together. Highlight, and I'm going to use the Ambient Lighting, this is the metallic strobe lighting palette from Hourglass, and I'm using the Sigma tapered highlighter brush. I think I'm going to take this bronzy one and the pink and just kind of... All right, I'm going to use the Anastasia Dewy Set. Whew. I'm going to grab a little bit of the center shade and just pop it on the inner corner right here. Oh, all right, now that completes the look. All right, guys, that's it. That completes the look. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys, and I will see you all in my next one.